This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Doug Drohan.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Good Neighbor Podcast. I am your host, Doug Drohan from the Bergen Neighbors Media Group. Today we are joined by Natalie Dion, the co-owner of the Carpentry shop, which is an amazing, unique, handmade, we'll call it Carpentry, but furnishing store based now in New Jersey, in Northvale, New Jersey. They used to be over the border in Japan, and they made the leap to go from New York to New Jersey, just like I did 20-something years ago. Natalie, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, so you and I met years ago. I had read a story about you and Julian in a magazine, and I was taken by kind of just the artwork, I guess you could say, the creativity of the tables and the materials that you guys use. And then, when we met, it was more about stories and the love that goes into what you guys do. And the funny thing is that if you go on your website, it says born out of doing something you love every single day. And I think, for anybody who starts a business, who's successful, if you're not loving what you're doing, then, it's time to close up shop. Would you agree? Yeah.
I 100% agree with you. It has to start with purpose. I think that in today's society, there's like so many options out there. And if you're going to choose to work for yourself and build something, the most important thing that it needs to be built on is purpose. So yes, I definitely agree with you.
So how did this purpose come about? It's been like 10 years, right? I mean, what did you do before you got into was your husband a carpenter? Was he a guy that always designed, furniture, or like, how did this start?
Definitely not. So we'll make this the short version,
Okay.
right? So essentially, Julian has always realized that he never wanted to work in an office. Since the day I met him, he always said he wanted to be, doing something with his hands, work outside. It's just who he is. He comes from a long line of carpenters. His grandfather actually, built homes up and down the coast in Maine.
Wow.
I've been to them before. We actually there's one that his family still owns that we get to go to every summer and enjoy. So it's amazing. His uncles are all hobbyist carpenters, but Julian is the one who actually decided to go into it as a profession. On my side, I actually have a degree in economics. It's the Smeal College of Business at Penn State. And I actually was working in the federal government. And I did that for about 10 years before I decided that I was done.
Yeah.
Kind of had that moment. And, Julian at that time had been operating what was our outdoor company, which is he was doing carpentry just basically all outside. And
for like Manhattan, like spaces, right? A lot of rooftop spaces.
Yep. A lot of rooftops, a lot of backyards, really focusing on decking, outdoor kitchens, fencing, planter boxes, that kind of stuff, kind of rehabbing outdoor spaces. And him and I had purchased a house, and we needed to furnish it because, of course, I'm Latina, I'm Puerto Rican, Dominican, and we have a big family. And we bought the house around December 3rd. And of course, I had to host Christmas, right?
Okay. Oh,
and
wow.
we had no furniture.
3rd. Wow.
And so the concept of us making furniture came out of family and necessity. And I needed a dining table. And so, he's like, if you design it, I'll build it. And that's really the first pieces we made were for our home out of necessity.
Okay. And then people came over and said, wow, this is amazing. Where'd you get it? And you were like, oh, I built it. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's how it started. And then in 2020, I took the leap. I quit my job. And that was actually before COVID. So February 4th of 2020, I remember because my last day was my daughter's birthday, and that's my youngest daughter's birthday. Wow. I had quit. And I think later, like 2 or 3 weeks later, they shut down the country. My boss actually called me back and said, do you want your job back? And I said, no, we're going to stand firm. But we used that time during COVID to really practice. And we spent a lot of time in our workshop, just us and our girls. And it was actually a beautiful experience because we started experimenting and really learning and honing our craft, which we wouldn't have gotten that opportunity had the country not actually shut down.
Sure. So honing your craft, there's another craft that you have to hone when you're a business owner, which is running a business. It's
Mm-hmm.
nice to have this talent, but if you don't have any customers, big deal.
Oh yeah.
So how did you guys grow your business? Like, did you have a set plan, or was it kind of organically just through word of mouth, or did you say, this is the people we need to work with, we're going to make connections here in this industry or whatever? Like, what was your plan? Did you have something like that?
So this is such a great topic. I'm glad you brought it up. So it really was an organic formation at first. So we had existing clients that we had from our outdoor, which we kind of sent out an email. Hey, we're now doing interior, we're doing furniture.
Right.
And then also by talking with other business owners and other people in the community, they were actually referring us out and saying, hey, there's this young couple in town.
Huh.
Because during COVID, everybody wanted to furnish their house. Everybody
Yeah, that's
wanted a
true.
table.
That's true.
Right?
Yep.
But
Yep.
it saved us. It completely
Yeah.
saved us in a way because of that opportunity. People are asking around and they would say, call this couple.
Yeah.
They can make you a table. They can
Yeah.
do this. And because we were shut down, right? We couldn't
Yeah.
work in the city. We had no income. And as business owners, people don't realize that. We don't
Right.
get to fall back on any type of assistance. If we
Right.
fail, that's
You
it.
eat, yeah, you eat what
That's
you
it.
kill. Yeah.
You eat what you kill. And so it's a
Yeah.
different world. And we were living off our savings. And then,
Yeah.
one couple, they asked us for a dining table. And then another couple asked us for a dining table. And it just kept
Mm.
snowballing. And so, yeah, it was really organic in the beginning,
Yeah.
which was exciting.
Yeah.
And now we're at that phase where you're talking about where we're trying to figure out, okay, now how do we go out and attract more business and attract the right customers? And
Right.
that's the phase that we're in now.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I might be able to help you with that, but no, that's interesting. And I think, one of the key, like, it's tough to get this across on a podcast, but they have to go to your website. They have to go to your showroom. Um, you know, you build conversation pieces. So when somebody walks in, it's like, whoa, whether it's like, one of the things I was impressed with is when you were building a kitchen counter, which I never thought, oh, out of wood, why would you want a kitchen counter built out of wood? But, it's the way that you laminate it and things like that. But I think you have to see it to understand. So if somebody has a certain budget and they want that showstopper piece and they walk into somebody's home and there's a table that you built, you're not getting it at a Pottery Barn. You're not getting it
No.
at whatever, Crate and Barrel. So I think that's what you guys obviously have. In fact, we could talk about this offline, but I just had a Zoom call with a big design firm in Oakland, New Jersey that does a lot of custom homes. And I'm going to invite him to he and his wife to your art gallery at the end of the month, see if they show
Oh,
up. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. And this is what it's about, like connections and community
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
meeting people and having people. And that's one of your strengths, I would say. You've always been a connector. Every time I talk to you, you're like, oh, I know this person who can do this. And you need people like that. You need people
Yeah.
that they form those connections.
Yeah. And I think, you have to have like-minded approach to, I think, life and business. I'll go back to, what you say, born out of doing something you love every single day. I think if you lead with the heart, then people will see that and they'll want to work with you. So let's get into some of the product you guys
Sure.
create, because I've kind of been focusing on tables. And you mentioned, like, I actually bought a planter from you guys, but what are the types of things? Because I get your newsletter every week, and sometimes you have other,
Yep,
maybe online, you sell other things that you maybe don't
we
make
do.
by hand. But so do you want to go through like what your kind of
Yeah.
portfolio of offerings are?
Well, let's go through it. So originally our backbone was outdoor construction. So we went ahead and we created products that are actually for the outdoors. So we have a whole
Yeah.
suite of benches, outdoor benches, planter boxes. Like you said, you bought a planter box from us. We have outdoor trash enclosures. Believe it or not, you have this
Oh
gorgeous
yeah,
home.
yeah,
You don't
yeah,
want your trash just outside. So
yeah,
we made these beautiful enclosures that hide your trash so that you don't have to look at that. Those are just a few of the products that we have for outside. And then we expanded into interior. Like you said, we have dining tables, we do console, we do credenzas. We can make sofas. We
Mm.
can make, it's almost endless,
But you can make sofas. You
bookshelves.
make sofas.
Yeah,
Uh,
we have a sofa that we love. It's called the Alexandra. I used to have it in the showroom, but then a woman walked in and said, "I have to have that couch. I need to
okay.
buy that one." And
Wow.
so we sold it to her. We're gonna make another one. We just haven't had time.
Yeah.
But you know, we try to get as creative as possible. Like you mentioned, we can do the wood countertops. A lot of people are opting to really bring in that warmth into the kitchen, and they'll do a kitchen island. And
Yeah.
instead of putting stone in that area, they'll put a nice, beautiful wood countertop. So we can make those. And now we've really stepped into the millwork. We're working
Okay.
with quite a few builders on new construction homes, and we're actually doing all of the millwork in the house. So the vanities in the bathroom, the kitchens, built-in bookcases, all of
Okay.
that stuff,
So
which
kind
is
of the
great.
wainscoting and the yeah, got it. Okay.
So
So
it's
kind of
it's a
applying
it's an
stuff
awesome
to it.
opportunity. Yeah, because if you're making these huge homes, typically, you want a vanity a certain size, or you need custom
Yeah.
dimensions. It's not something that's off the box. So they come to us and we work with them, and then, it's that
Nice.
seamless experience for their customer, which is pretty nice.
Nice. Now
Oh,
where
and
do you
then you mentioned the other products. I forgot
yeah.
about those.
Yeah.
The third-party products. So if you're on my
Okay.
site and you see products, I have the maker listed for each product.
Okay.
And what you'll see is I'm carrying brands of other small businesses. So I
Okay.
have curated a collection of like-minded other small businesses. So we
Wow.
have hardware from Dover Forge. It's made and shipped right out of Florida. I have
Okay.
artisans like Andrew Weatherly. You're going to come, you're going to see his art. His art's
Yeah.
on our website. So I have curated and found a collection of other like-minded small businesses.
Yeah.
We have rugs that are made to order by another artisan. I have stone sinks that I get made. I actually
Mm.
have to import those from Turkey from another artisan. And
Oh,
I've
wow.
developed all these relationships to curate a collection that is really special. It's limited quantity items.
Yeah.
I feature Moe's Home Collection. They do not do large scale items. So there might only be 50 of the table that exist, and that's it.
Uh,
And then they'll
uh,
never make it again. And so it's
uh,
really awesome because these are also well made, high quality items. And so that's the other items that you see on our
yeah.
website.
Cool. Now the wood that you use, it's not always your normal oak or cedar. You guys source from different places around the world, right?
We do. We do. We source a lot from South America. We have our domestic lumber as well, which we
Yeah.
currently, I am sourcing some pieces from California, and then we'll also source from Pennsylvania, from Maine. And
Mhm.
the key here is we're repurposing wood that otherwise would have been discarded or would
Okay.
have been repurposed as firewood.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's cool that we get to
Yeah.
save it and give it a new life.
Yeah, that's great. Now, were you affected by the tariffs at all when they raised, tariffs on, say, Brazilian imports? Was that part was wood part
Yes.
of the import? Yeah.
It was. So it was certain types of lumber that have tariff implications.
Yeah.
And so we definitely were affected. But, honestly, since COVID, the price of lumber has just skyrocketed. And it
Yeah. It
seems
didn't
to
it
me
didn't
like
come
it
down because I
really
know it
didn't
went
come down a
no?
little.
Okay. All
A
right.
little, but I feel like
Okay.
they figured out if you're gonna pay $200 for plywood when it used to be $98, why
Yeah.
would they bring it back down to
Right.
98 when they can
That's
make
that's exactly what I
$200?
said. That's exactly what I said. It's like the
That's just
price of
what I
gas.
noticed.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like,
Yeah.
you know
They found, like, with gas, like, the $4 mark is kinda like go above 4, get near 5, then people are gonna start curtailing their consumption, but if you stay around $4, why drop it back to 2?
exactly. They
You know,
supply and demand,
if demand
economics.
didn't yeah, if demand didn't wane, then, yeah, just keep it
Yeah,
going. Yeah.
exactly.
So, I wanted to you mentioned Andrew Weatherly, and,
Mhm.
so part of, what you do is you team up with local artisans and stuff. So, tell me about this event that you have coming up in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I'm extremely excited. So we just moved to a new location, and we are inviting people into our location, our shop, and our workshop, and they're going to have the ability to walk through our space, see where we actually work, meet us, speak with us. We're going to actually have like a small epoxy demonstration going on
Oh, cool.
during the event, and people can actually participate. And at the same time, we're going to be featuring Andrew Weatherly is one of the artists, and his art is going to be displayed. It's also going to be available for purchase, and the net proceeds are going to go to the Infinity Equine Therapy Center that's located here, and it's actually right across the border in New York. And they provide therapeutic services for individuals in need, which is awesome. So we thought if we're going to have an event, we might as well partner with a charity and do it with a
Right.
bang. We're also going to have small items for sale as well, a bunch of cutting boards, coasters, things like
Yeah.
that we're going to
Yeah.
donate the net proceeds also to the
Oh, nice.
charity.
Nice.
So this way we can try to meet their goal. I think they're trying to raise $10,000, and I really hope that we can meet it.
Yeah.
I sent out an invitation, which includes a link to if you can't make the event and you just want to donate to them,
Right.
$5, $10, no amount is too little. So hopefully people click on that link and donate to the charity.
We'll put it in the podcast in the
Awesome.
summary. I'll have it in there. And what's the date of that?
February 27th. It's going to be from 5:30 to about 8:30.
Okay. And you mentioned your new location, which is where?
190 Veterans Drive in Northvale, New Jersey.
So for those of you thinking, where is Veterans Drive? Well, if you go Paris Ave, you go to Biddy O'Malley's, which is an Irish gastropub, most people know. You just hang a right by the Catholic Church, and it's this office building there. And yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to that party. The nice thing is that you bring in, because you've done this before, a whole host of different people, from not only ones that want to support the charity or support Andrew, but people from your side too, contractors, builders, and designers. And yeah, so it's a great community kind of event. So we'll make sure we get it out there on this podcast.
Awesome.
So Natalie, there was one other thing you mentioned, your family, and when I look at your About Us, you've got the founders, which are you and your husband. You've got CEO, co-founder, master carpenter, co-founder, and then you have your chief happiness officers, which I'm looking for the picture of a dog. Like, how could you have a chief happiness officer and not have a dog?
I know.
Anyway, Sophia and Alexandra are your chief happiness officers. So how old are your daughters now?
So Allie just turned 7 yesterday, and Sophia will turn 10 in about 2 weeks.
Oh, nice. And I have to say, like, whether you're male or female, but certainly if you have daughters, I think it's incredibly empowering for them to see you and your husband, but to see their parents to run a business, to build it from scratch. They probably don't remember when you started that. Obviously, they weren't even born when you first started, but I think it's an incredible display of being a role model. I say to my son, like, when I worked behind a desk for 25 years, it's not, when you run your own company, everything you do every single day has almost an immediate impact, or you see the fruits of it as it builds over time. And I think, I applaud you for being that, that role model for your daughters and your husband as well. But empowering women is something, we believe in as well. I team up with an organization called Wonder Girls, who are going to be at another event that you might come to at Greenwich Med Spa in a couple of weeks. But I think it's great. Your daughters are, they're in the office. They've seen you guys do this from day one, and to have that in their kind of, through osmosis, into their lives, I think it's incredibly empowering for them. I don't know if you agree with that or.
Oh, I 100% agree. They see it. They know what it takes. They understand. I also love their exposure to being in the shop and understanding how things are made. Sophia, don't give her a drill because she wants to use it. So, it's nice. They're going to be capable. They're going to have the skill set. They're not, our goal is that they don't need, they're not going to need someone to do it for them. They're going to be able to do it themselves, which would be pretty awesome. And then they enjoy learning about business. They do. They're here. They see us answering the phones. And, they understand that not everything is always perfect, but we have to solve problems.
Yeah. Somebody once said the definition of being a business owner is solving problems. I think I tend to agree with that. And I think, the biggest challenge that we have is, we have to be able to So along those lines, like what advice would you give a new business owner who's thinking about starting? And there's always an excuse, whether it was COVID or it's the economy today or it's whatever. Like there's always a reason why you could talk yourself out of taking that leap of quitting your 9 to 5 job. Like what advice would you give a new business owner who's thinking about it or just launching?
Yeah. So entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart.
Yeah,
That's that's number one.
it's a roller
So
coaster.
I guess my thing is you need to make sure that that purpose is strong enough for you,
Yeah,
because when time gets hard and you're up against the wall and most people will not get up. Most people will quit. You have
yeah,
to make sure that that why, that purpose is so strong that you do not give up, that you continue to walk up that mountain with all the weight on your shoulders.
yeah,
Because at the end of the day, and people, I didn't fully understand this, but it is on our shoulders.
yeah,
My employees that I employ, I am responsible for
yeah.
their income. I am responsible for their families in
Mm,
such a way. It's a really huge responsibility.
yeah,
They
that's a good point.
trust me, and so I don't take that lightly. So I'm
Right,
making, pieces for families, and if I can deliver on making sure that we're doing our craft to the best of our abilities and that we're staying true to what we do, you know, the hope is that the sales follow because we're being true, right?
right.
And then in that, I'm able to then meet my obligations as a business owner, that I'm responsible, to my community, make sure I pay my taxes to the people that work for me, to make sure that they
Yeah,
get their paycheck. It's
yeah,
all connected. And so if your purpose is not strong,
right,
then, if you're just doing it for money, money comes and goes.
right.
So you got to have that purpose. So that
Yeah,
to me is like number one. So if you're going to make the leap and you're just trying to get rich real quick, you know, I would caution you.
uh, yeah,
That
and
would
I
be my
think like
advice.
having your higher why is important, but I think you also need to remind yourself of it in those down times.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
you have to take a step back and remember or remind yourself why I'm doing this. Because yeah, you have to always keep. I don't know if you have a vision board. Some people believe in vision boards, but always remembering why it is that you're doing it is going to help you get through those tough times. And Mike Tyson said everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth, and a lot of people can't get back up.
I like that.
But
Oh,
yeah.
we've
I
been
mean,
punched. You trust
yeah.
me.
Oh yeah. We
We've
all
been
have.
knocked
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm shocked sometimes that we've gotten back up. And here's another thing people don't realize. I work with my spouse,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
we have to balance. It's a delicate dance between
Yeah.
leaving work at work and having
Yeah.
home at home, and
Yeah.
being partners at work in a professional setting and what that looks like, and then
Yeah.
being partners at home. And
Right.
so, there's a fine dance that you have to dance. But,
True.
when something happens in the business that hurts us, we are definitely hurting, right? Because it affects us in such a magnitude.
Yeah.
So, I love working with my spouse. I would never change that. We're definitely different personalities. We're both needed. I can be very optimistic and he can ground me and bring me back to earth sometimes.
Don't be so
Um,
optimistic. Yeah.
yeah, but it's good, Well,
Right.
he, has to remind me, that sounds great, but how are we going to do it? Right.
Right.
So
Right.
you
Right.
need both sides. It's that yin and yang.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but so that's another thing. Some people can do it. I actually know quite a few entrepreneurs that are husband and wife teams. I know
Yeah.
architects like that. I know a builder like that. There's quite a few people that I know.
Okay.
But that also is a journey in its own, and
Sure.
that doesn't always work.
Right. 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 Yeah. That is a different dynamic. I didn't think about, but yeah, I don't know if I could work with my spouse. So but we are
Yeah,
very different. So it could work in some ways, but
yeah,
yeah. So Natalie, this is great. So let's just go through your website. Where do people find you?
sure.
It's the Carpentry Shop co.com, right?
Yes,
And
correct.
what's the best way to reach? Should they call you, email you, follow you on Instagram, send you a DM?
All of that
Okay.
is great. So you can definitely call us. We have a contact us page. We also have forms on pages if you want to inquire about a specific project. You
Okay.
can reach out that way. You can email our info inbox. It's just info@thecarpentryshopco.com. extremely long email, but it's the whole company name. Also, yeah, find us on Instagram, on TikTok. I even look at messages on Pinterest sometimes. So however people want to reach out to us, they can reach us. Our handle is at the Carpentry Shop Co. You can find us on, any of the social platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, YouTube. We have a YouTube page, which is great. Cool. We try to post videos of us making things, try to show people how to do things. So
Nice.
Lots of ways to find us.
All right. And you're at 190 Veterans Drive in Northvale, New Jersey. The phone number is 646-933-0736. Natalie Dion, the Carpentry Shop. Thank you very much for being my guest today. And, we're going to get all that information out about your event in a couple of weeks. And you and I will be right back. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpbergen.com. That's gnpbergen.com. Or call 201-298-8325.